the courts ruin your plans. So the last video I was kind of talking about how the court system and getting caught up in the court system can ruin your plans. I'm going to expound upon that a little bit more right now. See, because when you look at the court system, right, the court system is more of a conveyor belt rather than a tailor-made suit shop. You understand? It's a conveyor belt. And a lot of times there's just fixed attitudes and fixed postures and thus anticipated outcomes just built into the system. And also built into the system are a lot of biases, preconceived notions. So that's why I tell people, when you're building a life plan, particularly as young men and men generally, middle age, older, definitely for older, you have to put in your plan to avoid the courts. You want to stay away from the courts. That has to be your first strategy. And when I litigate, one of the things I litigate and I consult with my guys, I'm trying to show them that one of the best strategies is to avoid the courts totally. So you can do that by, on the front end, negotiate. That's one of the strategies. You can negotiate something with the mother of your child or the mother of your children, whereby there's some type of payment plans being made that's being documented, and you can do it outside the courts. You know, I know a lot of people don't like that strategy. They prefer to run down to the courts and cement a child support order, and then just do it that way. You understand? And that's cool too, but again, it's tricky because once you put yourself under the auspices of the courts, you now are opening yourself up for a lot of what we call judicial intervention. And intervention, sometimes if you get the wrong magistrate or the wrong judge, you can get an adverse ruling, and things can really go south in there. So what I try to do is I tell people, just try to work it out with your baby mother. But here's another thing that I would suggest too is, the mother of your children, in terms of avoiding the court, you always want to try to make sure that the relationship is civil. You understand? You don't want it to be contentious. Okay, however the child came to be, right? What you want to do is you want to make sure that the relationship you have with the child's mother is stellar as possible, because a number of reasons. Obviously, number one, that's in the best interest of the child. When a child's growing up and they see that the mother and the father are constantly at war, and there's this big old battle of wills between the two of them, that right there causes agita in the child, and it causes confusion, because a lot of times children don't want to be caught in the middle of situations between their parents, because they feel they're not really emotionally and psychologically equipped to process a lot of it. And so they don't know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's right, who's wrong. And then sadly too, a lot of them will start blaming themselves. They'll start thinking, their daddy and mommy are fighting over me, and so I'm the bad guy or I'm the bad girl. And that's a messed up situation to put a child in, man. And they grow up in trauma, in a toxic environment, and it starts to manifest itself in weird ways in school and relationships. Anyway, just try to work things out outside of court, keep it civil, and just co-parent in a healthy, functional form and fashion. Now, if you can't do that, and then it has to go to court, then you have to be prepared. And even while you're there, I'll say you still should keep the posture of respect towards the mother of your child. Even if she's acting, weird, your posture should always be, respectful to the court, respectful to the process, and you're trying to get the best resolution that you can. If you're dealing with a rational, reasonable baby mother on the other side, then potentially you can get that. But you have to think about it. Hopefully you have a lawyer that knows how to negotiate and settle cases. A lot of lawyers, and this is another thing, I'll drop this on y'all guys real quick. Be careful of the lawyer that you pick, because some lawyers, right, from what I see, my experience is that they'll have a case, right, and it's a contentious case, right, but if the lawyer was skilled in the art of negotiations and mediation, they can settle that case, particularly if you have a skilled attorney or you have a skilled attorney. Y'all can settle that case. But if you have on your side an attorney who's not skilled at it, and she has on her side an attorney who's not skilled at it, y'all in for a long freaking ride, particularly if there's room for settlement, but neither attorney is skilled in the art of settling. Or if you have a situation where one of the attorneys, or God forbid, both of the attorneys are potentially skilled, but they're not using their skills. I come into cases, I want to get the best possible remedy, period. And not for me. That's not even part of the agenda. It's the best possible solution for you, my client, and all parties involved, if possible. My client first, obviously, but quite often what's good for my client could be good for the other party if you have a creative mind. All right? But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So be careful. Pick your lawyers carefully and watch them. Watch them. See if they really advocating not just for you, but if they're pushing just to keep things jumping, back and forth to court, and you don't see them introducing solutions, potential ways, off this treadmill or this conveyor belt. Take a good look at that attorney, man. And all right? Anyway, MTB, man.